Cyberpunk 2077 just got a new update, and it is much bigger than we expected. In this video, we're going to take a look at all the new changes in patch 2.1, which includes some significant updates and gameplay features for romance and vehicle enjoyers. This update will be available on Tuesday around noon Central European Time, which is about 6 a.m. on the East Coast. So let's take a look at the patch notes here. All right, new features. So do you remember all those trailers that showed V traveling on the public transit throughout Night City? Well, now we're actually going to get that because V is issued with their own N-Cart City Pass, and they can now travel between 19 metro stations located throughout Night City on 5 different lines via fast travel or by riding the train itself while gazing out the window and watching the world go by. So I'm definitely interested in seeing how this looks in the game. One of the biggest changes that people have been talking about are the new romance hangouts. V will now be able to invite their love interest to spend some time together in any of the apartments. Hangouts are a repeatable, unlimited event that become available once the romance path with a given character has concluded. Also, you can now listen to the radio not just when you're in a vehicle, but when walking around Night City as well. So when exploring on foot, if you want to listen to some tunes, like maybe I want to stay at your house, you'll be able to do that as you explore Night City, which I think is really cool. And then for people who like the street racing in the game, there's also going to be new repeatable street races that are added into the game after finishing the Beast in Me. Look for race flag icons on the map and win the races to get eddies and a discount from the Auto Fixer website. Additionally, we improved the racers' AI to make them more competitive and made enhancements so that the whole experience is much more fun. They've also added a number of sightseeing locations around Night City where you can pull out a pair of binoculars and get a cool view of the city. One really cool thing I see here from the quests in open world is that V can now be pursued by gangs after taking an aggressive approach toward them during certain gigs and main quests. This is one of the things that kind of made Night City not feel quite as interactable, is that, you know, you really wouldn't get into any beefs with the gangs, you would never get into any shootouts with the gangs or anything like that, unless, you know, you just happen to attack them on the streets or something. So now it seems like there's going to be ways for V to kind of gain negative reputation with some of the gangs depending on quest choices that you make. Gigs that involve stealing and delivering a vehicle can now turn into a car chase and combat sequence. It's cool that they have, you know, not just added vehicular combat as something that we do in the Phantom Liberty expansion, but they're now integrating this more thoroughly into the base game as well, which is really cool. A lot of the rest of the things from this list are just bug fixes for specific quests in the base game and in the Phantom Liberty expansion. But one cool thing that they've done is now revamped some of the boss fights as well. So improved the boss fights with Yasha Ivanov, Boris Rybakov, and Adam Smasher. Smasher will now be able to activate the Sandevistan. So I'll be curious to see if this makes the final boss of the main story a little bit more challenging. We've also added in new cyberware, the Fiend X and Cogito Lattice. Not sure what either of these things do, but I'm definitely going to be checking that out next time I go to a Ripper dock. They've also added in some new rebalances for different weapons and cyberware, decreased cyberware capacity costs for memory boost, bioconductor, Koreznikov, etc. One good quality of life feature here is they've increased the max ammo limit you can carry in your inventory for all ammo types. This was good because I think with, like, you know, certain weapons, you'd only be able to carry like 200 bullets. So it's cool to see that they're increasing this. The Koreznikov will now work with throwable weapons. And they've made a few other adjustments to various quick hacks and abilities as well, like overclock and synapse burnout. One other cool feature is that they've added in new movements for vehicles, specifically for bikes. So one, they've added 5 new bikes for purchase from the Auto Fixer website, including this really cool looking bike here. I can't wait to get my hands on that. But also, it is now possible to lean while riding bikes. Use left shift, left control on keyboard, or left stick on a gamepad to make a rider lean. Up to lean forward or down to lean back. Leaning only changes your center of mass. Lean back and apply the gas to do a wheelie. Lean forward and apply the brake to do an endo. So this is kind of cool because you're going to now be able to do things like this they're showing on screen where you could do like a backflip in the air. So that's cool. It just provides a little bit more interesting movement for bikes and so forth. So I definitely will probably find myself driving the motorcycles in the game a little bit more than regular cars because of this. Added in a new car, the Porsche 911 Cabriolet. Visit the Auto Fixer website for more details. This kind of looks like a reskin of Johnny's vehicle. Added an option to mark vehicles as favorite in the call vehicle menu. This is really good if you've, bought a lot of the vehicles in the game. You won't have to necessarily scroll through the entire list every time you want to call up a different vehicle. Added an option to throw knives and axes while riding bikes. That's pretty cool. Improved the melee animations when driving bikes in third person, and attacking an NPC driver will now cause their vehicle to swerve. So this is basically it for the major changes. A lot of the rest of the things we see on this list are just various visual improvements, audio improvements, etc. So I will link the patch notes down in the description below if you want to check those out. Again, patch 2.1 will be available on December 5th, so if you're interested in diving back into Cyberpunk and seeing these new changes, definitely check that out. I will be doing a video talking about the new romance hangout, so keep an eye on that as well. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more Cyberpunk and RPG videos. Big shout out to all the channel members for supporting my content. Until next time, this has been Big Dan. I should go.